Oh, that's what that is. Hello, everyone. Is my microphone working? Edit my name. Stay. Hello, hello. As you come on, go ahead and reach out and say hi. Let me know where you're coming in from because we're coming in from 3 different areas. And I'm going to go ahead and double check Facebook and see, make sure we're live there. Yes. Yay. This is my new favorite thing to wear. I love this dress. I feel so spunky and so young and so full of energy. Like, I actually wore it with pink boots. See, there's pink in there. And I got a lot of compliments on it. And even though my boots were a size too small, I still wore them. They squished my toes a bit, but girls, it made a difference in my outfit. Let me tell you. Okay, just checking one more thing. Okay. All right. Welcome. Some of you that have been following me have known that, oh, just one moment. Let me mute my phone. And I encourage you all to mute your phone too. So this term, this title for tonight, Sacred Heart Space Gathering, kind of dropped in after I sent out a message saying I was coming live tonight. Because there's one thing that a lot of people don't know is, or maybe forget about or not aware of, is that we have this sacred heart within us. We have this heart that is so powerful beyond our knowing that it literally, no matter what tools you have, can literally transform, transmute any energies when we stay within our heart, when we stay within our breath. And as some of you know, that I've been traveling a lot the month of July into the beginning of August. And I've been a trailblazer for many other women that have, as I've been told, that have decided in their lifetime to take this solo journey. Sometimes we just have to say yes to our spirit beyond knowing what is going to reveal itself, beyond knowing how things will end up, beyond knowing the next step. When we walk through fear, because most fear is not real, it's nervousness, it's anxiety. If your life is not in danger, then usually the fear is a falseness that our spirit, our essence is asking us to walk through it. And when we do, women, when we walk through that fear, on the other side is just golden gems, gems of all kinds that have been waiting for you to arrive. And that really came home to me, really came home to my remembrance when I was on this trip, traveling across 11 states through from Kansas into Arkansas, Tennessee, and then going up into, um, I know there was Virginia, West Virginia. I know there was another state in there somewhere, and then into Pennsylvania up to upper state New York, and stayed there for a couple weeks in the wilderness in a small cabin called the Rose Cottage with other incredible people that showed up for different retreats, for different happenings in this area. And it being completely off grid is an amazing thing. I couldn't get phone calls. I couldn't send phone calls. The only way I could is if I went to a certain spot in somebody's house or if I drove to town and I didn't want to be in town. Very seldom did I go to town. And walking the land, being with the land during this time was invigorating my beyond my knowledge, beyond what I ever thought could happen. Being with the land, being in this lush greenness, because right now what we're experiencing right here where I live is drought. And that's something like I can feel the pain of the farmers. I can feel the yearning for liquid from the grounds, from the grasses. So when we actually take time, hi darling, hi Carol, hi Franklin, thank you for joining, you guys. When, ladies and gentlemen, when we take time for ourselves to re-nourish ourselves and do it on a solo level and actually do it days at a time, it's such an incredible experience. Now, I've done this before, a few days at a time. This was 3 weeks, over 3 weeks that I traveled by vehicle, and I had this unsurmountable, undeniable faith and trust, like in parts of me that I didn't even know really existed. Like I knew that I knew that I knew I was taken care of as I journeyed through. As I journeyed through all of this, and I knew there was breakthroughs and activations and transmissions and new a new a newness that wanted to be called on and claimed by me. One of the things I did, I took my medicine drum with me and felt compelled because one of the one of the pullings of my heart, of my spirit, was to call forth other women from long ago sisterhoods to help reunite them from other lifetimes through the pain and the sorrow they have experienced from the loss of each other. So when I was in Arkansas, there is a special lake called, now I don't know if I pronounce it right, called Wichita Lake. or Cheetah Lake, because it's Ouachita. This is a very magical place. And if you ever get a chance, go visit. I actually met 5 other women there, and all of us, thank you, darling. All of us have done a lot of energy work together over the last few years, and so we know each other very, very deeply. A lot of healing work amongst all of us. And we met at this Ochita, I don't Wichita Lake. I'm just going to say it like that. We met there and we stayed together in a in an Airbnb. And as we worked with the land, as we worked with the crystal trail that we walked up to the top of the mountain, because see, one of the things that I didn't realize is that area where we stayed is part of the Appalachian Mountains. Now, the Appalachian Mountains are the oldest mountain system in the world. You see, at one point in time, probably before time was time, that far back, all the continents, and if you look at this, they're all puzzle pieces and they all fit together. The Rocky Mountains are one of the youngest mountain ranges. So as I have worked with different elders and different I was going to say tribes, but that could be misleading. Different elders from different walks of life in this lifetime and others, there have been downloads, there has been unknown wisdom that has bled into me. I'm just saying what's coming through. And I know going on this journey with me, I know they were going on this journey with me. Not even that I even know how, that I have to understand that. See, there's something here, everyone. Sometimes so many of us get in our heads so much. We think we have to figure it out. We think we have to figure it out. And we don't. We just got to take one step in front of the next. We sometimes have to leap. I mean, truly leap. Like leaping off a cliff, and that trust, you will be caught. I can feel the emotion coming up right now. We have to trust. And we're being called forth. And we might not sometimes like what we're being called forth to do. But we're being called, all of us. All of you that are here right now, you know this somewhere inside of you, or you wouldn't be here. I know you want to come hang out with me. Who doesn't, right? But there's that joyfulness, and there's more. I met new beings on my trip. I developed deeper relationships with the fairies. I opened up ideas of connecting with the Sasquatch to other people that were around me by just Carolyn, wow, I love you so much. I love hanging out with you too, girl. But by being on this solo journey, which I'm still integrating, new levels of me are coming forth. new levels. Not that I have to understand it. I don't. I'm just trusting. I'm trusting that it will, as it integrates, I'll know more and I'll know what direction to walk. One of the things that came very clear to me, very clear, because one of the things I was asking when I was, especially when I was in the wilderness, as I'm driving, because I drove for, I think it took me 3 days from Arkansas to get to upper state New York because I really wanted to take my time. Oh, I have to tell you this funny story. Okay. Okay. I'm just asking if I'm distracting myself because now I totally forgot where I was going to go with that. Oh, I was asking a question. Okay, remember that. This is hilarious. I have to share this. So as I'm on my trip, and there's all kinds of songs that I heard growing up. I pull over because I don't know if y'all know, but okay. I pull over because I think it was called Bob's Country Market. I'm like, oh, a little town home market or country store. That's what it was, country store. So I pull over. Thank goodness I had enough space in between the semis because the traffic was really busy. I haven't seen that many semis on any roads I've traveled. It was busy, but then I didn't get upset about it. Kind of just played with it. And so I pull over, go to visit Bob's Country Market, and it's closed. But I go fill up gas right away, and I found the best chips ever. Okay, that's not really on my new way of eating. But hey, girl, sometimes we just gotta let ourselves enjoy something new. So I go up to the cash register after paying for my gas, and I'm looking around because I always like to look in little towns if there's something new and different that maybe nobody else has. I always do that. I'm always looking for something new and different because I love new and different. I love being different and outrageous. Okay, so anyway, I found this bag of chips. It's Route 11. You can actually order these online. And they're a small little, I wouldn't even say factory, a small little group. Let's see, how did they say that? Small batches. They do small batches. And so sometimes you have to wait to get your order in, right? And I could read every ingredient on the back of the barbecue chip bag. I understood every ingredient in it, and I was so impressed. Like, dang. And they're kettle chips, and that means you got the crunch. And I got barbecue because I love barbecue. Okay. So I'm checking out. I told the lady, I'm like, now, as soon as I pay for these, I'm going to open up the bag right here in front of you, ma'am. And see, I already got a twang going on. And because I want to taste them, because I want to know if I'm going to go get more. They were so good, I went and got more. So she gives me the receipt. I said Shenandoah Valley on it. I'm like, Shenandoah Valley? Like the Shenandoah River? Like that Shenandoah Valley of the Shenandoah River? She's like, yeah, ma'am. The river's just down that way, just a few miles. Now, if I would have had more time, I would have stayed in that town that night. I'm like, you mean like the song, Take Me Home, Country Roads to the place that I belong with the Shenandoah River and the Shenandoah Valley? Like, I'm here? She's like, yes, ma'am. So that song has been with me. I'm like, and who sang that song? Who knows that song? Take me home, country roads, to the place where I belong. The Shenandoah River. Okay. I know I got to look it up because I can't remember all the words. And she just kind of cracked up laughing with me. And I was like, Glenn Campbell. Like, that was when I was so young. I'm 60 now. So that's been over 40 years ago. I heard that song. And that's part of what I was discovering when I was like, when I was in these different places. Because then I'm also like, before that happened, I think it was before that happened, I stayed in a hotel one night and she gives me the receipt and it says, the Smoky Mountain, welcome to the Smoky Mountain. I'm like, what? I'm actually in the Smoky Mountains? Like, there's all these songs written about these different places and that I've, heard growing up and into my adulthood. And I'm like, "Wow." Like, and I didn't even know Arkansas was in part of the Appalachian Mountains because I knew I was to travel through the Appalachian Mountains. And I also know that I know I am to do this trip again and stay in and I feel like it's gonna be off the interstate, off the main roads, and maybe two-lane highways to where I can actually visit. See, right now, just sharing that with you girls, like there's tears, like my spirit, like there's something in my soul that's just like calling out a yes. So imagine what else is there. Now, there's a story that I've been told by three different people. Yes, Carolyn, another road trip. There's a story that I was shared with me by three different people that don't know each other or that didn't know that they told me almost the same story about Wichita Lake. Now, any of you that know about Lemuria or Atlantis, these ancient civilizations that, okay, flittered away, I don't know what the right word is, that their lands sunk into the oceans. So there's a story, and it feels so right to me that when Atlantis was falling, the elders of Atlantis who used crystals as their technology or their technology, there's a lot of crystals, like high powered crystals in their technology. That's what they used. And when the elders knew that Atlantis was falling and they couldn't do anything about it, they knew it was going. The elders chose to take their crystals, these powerful gridded crystals, and put them three different places on Mama Earth. One is Arkansas. Now, some people think I shouldn't be sharing this, yet it took me until I was 59 to even find out about this. Now, if you end up going there to Wichita Lake, because there's even crystals within the lake. Do you remember a story about 4 or 5 years ago where birds were flying and all of a sudden they'd be dropping out of the sky? And nobody knew why? Well, that story happened around Wichita Lake, Arkansas. Now, the one thing, what I found out that we weren't told in the news or the media after the government came in and with their hazmat suits on, understandably, because they didn't know what was going on and why birds were just falling out of the sky and they were dead upon falling. I remember those stories. I remember the news stories about that. However, I do not remember being told why. Well, they found out that Wichita Lake is a crystal lake. That is one of the places where Atlantean crystals are. And there's different paths you can walk to dig for these crystals. But I implore you, if you choose to go visit there, Respect the land. Thank the land. Ask the land if it's okay to dig where you want to dig. Because one of the things we found upon our arrival and walking up this crystal trail, which you saw the little crystals, and sometimes if you stop to dig, you'd find them right there along the trail. I forgot to bring some over to show you some of them. Oh, you know what, girls? I will take a picture of some of them and post them in our Facebook group. Ignite Your Joyful Heart. One of them is as big in my hand, like big. So we did a lot of energy work and a lot of healing work, the 6 of us, me and these 5 other women I met there, because there is no way, like it even like the land at the top of this mountain, at the top of this trail, the remorse was real. The sadness was real because it was not appreciated for the gifts it was giving you as you helped it to unearth them. I should say it was not appreciated, but did not feel appreciated by the former people that were there. And I could feel the greed. So we raised a lot of that energy up. We cleared it. We healed the land. I could feel a smile within the mound that I was looking at. Yet I still, now see, here's the trust thing, right? Here's where trust comes in. But I didn't feel like I could dig. It did not feel right to me. And I heard a voice say, trust, Tammy. The crystals will come to you. Now, we had passed a crystal rock place that I wanted to go back to. I was going to go back to the morning that I was leaving, yet I knew I was also on a time crunch. And I just trusted. Like, I have no idea how they're going to come to me. And then the morning that we're all packing up and we're getting ready to leave, oh, this is so cool. One of the ladies, she was flying. Her suitcase was probably going to be overweight if she took her crystals. And she left them. She was going to leave them. I'm like, whoa, who's leaving these? She gifted me her crystals. And she was literally, had tears in her eyes, so grateful that I said yes and didn't even know how much I wanted them. Like, I felt completely graced by her gifts. And yeah. And then another lady, she laid out all of her crystals and said, which one's talking to you? It's yours. Like, really? And there was one that I kept eyeing, like, wow, that one's really got something to say with me, or wants to be warned by me or something. And yeah, she gifted it to me. So see, trusting, even though we don't know how it's going to happen, is incredible. It's work. And see, okay, so here's another thing. When we do that, when we trust in something, not knowing how it's going to happen, just take a breath and trust it, okay? And then it comes. We're literally telling the universe. And I could even right now I can see all these beings, even like, yeah, that's right. Because these beings that help these women to find the crystals themselves that were saying yes, like, I'm over here, because we all have that kind of connection and can hear that or sense it. Maybe we can sense it. Okay, so when we trust in that without knowing and we just go with the flow, we literally tell the universe, tell all these beings that are involved that might not even know. When we trust in them, and it's like the universe, like, will grace you with more and more and more. Because it fills up with delight by your trust in it, by your trust in them. Because how many times, and we've heard the saying, right? Faith is seeing without, faith is believing without seeing. I mean, really believing, even if it's not immediate, but believing. As I drove home, and I got home probably about 10 days ago. I got to look at my calendar. Yeah, about 10 days ago. Wow. It's been 10 days. Sometimes it feels like 2 weeks. Sometimes it feels like just yesterday. Huh. Yeah. 10. Yeah, I know I'm counting. But 10, 11 days ago, I got home. So, and I could feel the sorrow in this area, the pain in this area, the pain of the farmer and what they're feeling and what they're thinking. Because not only have prices gone back down for their grain to sell, like over $5 a bushel down, which is a huge amount of huge, huge amount. Most farmers that I know, like for us, for instance, we don't have oil to compensate when we don't have enough money for land payment. Because none of the land that we have was given to us. It's come to us to purchase it, to be stewards of it. Okay, and there's drought here. So I had faith and I had trust, even when everybody else said I was crazy or I'm Pollyanna or I'm whatever. But I knew that I knew we are taken care of. I've always known that. Yes, I have to remind my husband of that. We are taken care of somehow, some way. We will make it through. I know that, and more than that, not just make it through, and more than that. Do I know exactly what? No. Do I want the price of wheat to go up? You bet your booty I do. Oh, but so I drummed. I took out my sacred drum with my new drumstick because while I was on my trip, the drumstick I had that I made at a drum when I made my drum, I was drumming so hard, like there was so much coming through me, and it was just like, and the rhythm was astonishing to me, and I just kept going and going and going, knowing that I was the conduit for all this energy and this drumming, and the tip of my drumstick flew off. Like went ding, and there was no fixing it. I tried. There was no fixing it. So where I was in Cherry Valley, Upper State New York, thank goodness, the husband of the woman I was with, he knows how to do this. He knows how to. He's a wilderness guy himself and teaches wilderness things. And he made me a new drumstick before I left, and I mean a solid one. So I just started drumming when I got home and asking and just being truth with all the beings, with all the universe. Just truth. I don't like to need, but you know what? We do need you. Our crops need you. Our cattle need you. And not just us. All these farmers. I mean, some of them, I don't know. Yeah, some of them have great crops, but for some reason, right where we live, so we're swathing our crops somewhere. Okay, usually we use a combine. Now we're going to cut down our crops in a certain field because it's dying. Now we got rain 2 days ago, even though it didn't show on the, and my, and yeah, my husband was like, which I understand. I understand that because he knows what's coming up to pay for. So I understand his grittiness, yet I don't lose my ability to keep my faith and trust. It apparently wasn't enough rain to save that crop because the crop was already too far gone. However, yes, we could use more, a lot more. Our ponds are drying up. The animals, like we actually have pheasants now and deer now coming to drink out of our pond because they can't find water anywhere else. And I know that's part of my husband's feelings because he said that I don't know where all the birds and the animals are going to go for water. Yeah, they can go to the creek, but that's kind of dry too. That's low, very low. So I just asked the water. I asked the waters to bless us as I bless them. And that's something that happened that came through in the weekend, um, the weekend course that I taught around energy healing and different tools that I shared that I use. So much healing happened. And one of the things came through because I follow spirit. I follow where I'm being led or what I'm being asked to do. There's a little cup of water, just like a little that was sitting on because we had earth, wind, fire, and air. Yeah, there was a little cup of dirt, and so the water just like talked to me, and we did a blessing. That was not in my script of what I was going to teach. The 6 women that showed up, we did a blessing with that water. So there was, see, when 2 or more are gathered, we really can create magic. We can create magic with ourselves. Don't get me wrong. I mean, definitely, certainly. Yet it multiplies when we gather with other people. When we gather together. Gathering. A chemical gathering. A chemical processing in our gatherings. And we bless this water. And then each woman, each one of us took a little bit out of our water bottles and blessed the water with it. And I was led intuitively through a blessing. And then about an hour later, together we took the water outside and did another blessing. And circled around it. Automatically circle. Blessed each woman with that water. I was asked to bless each woman with that water and then sit it in the circle. Inside the circle, we were all standing under a tree. Now, see, in my mind, I thought I was supposed to, oh, I'm going to have to pour it by a tree. But no, I felt with the sacred heart space This heart space. It's like, no, pour it in the middle of the circle. And I ended up doing a pattern of some kind. And one of the ladies said, "Oh, Tammy, you just did a hieroglyph." Whoa. That I didn't even know that. Another woman said, "Oh my gosh, I can feel the joy in the trees." Whoa, right? And then the next day, it rained. It rained here. I played in the rain as long as the lightning was not around. I was outside as much as I could be, stomping in the water, stomping in the water, playing with the water. But see, when we play with it, like that's what all these different things, we can be serious. There's times when we be serious. When is the last time you played, like really played? Like you were a child and you played. Is all these beings can feel the playfulness. And that's what they want with us. They want to play with us. They want to play with us. Playfulness raises your energy. Playfulness raises your energy and helps you connect with your essence one of the quickest ways possible. Sometimes quicker than a meditation. It's just playing. And when you laugh, when you giggle, when you laugh like you're out of control, sometimes we pee our pants because we're laughing so hard. I mean, even a little kids, "Oh, mommy, I just peed my pants. I'm laughing so hard." And then we all laugh or we snort. And then oh my gosh, we all got to run to the bathroom. Like, let me in, let me in. Because of our playfulness. So I'm here tonight to remind you about playfulness also. And as I'm sharing this with you, see, I'm also sharing it with myself because all day long today, I've been still trying to catch up and scheduling different things, looking at my calendar for the next 2 to 3 months because I'm going to Scotland in the month of September, a 2020 trip that was rescheduled to 2022. So there's like trip after trip after trip. So playfulness, sacred play. We're all being called to play, a true play. Whether it's how many of you played hopscotch when you were little? How many of you drew on cement with chalk? Like if you can, go out, and sit down or draw hopscotch, play with, and even if your kids are a teenager, even if kids or grandkids will think you are crazy. When's the last time you hopscotch? And not even that you have to hop, but just draw it out. Wow. That just like boom, downloaded right there, right then. So playing. Oh, yes. Okay, what did I remind you to tell me? There was another point that I wanted to share. I said, remind me, remind me. Does anybody remember what that was? I just had it a minute ago. Oh, a question. Thank you. One of the things that I was also shared with me as I'm asking this question, what no longer serves me? What am I saying yes to that's really keeping me stuck? Am I saying yes to something that's keeping me stuck? That feels old, like old paradigm, that feels that there's a rejuvenation that wants to happen, a newness that wants to come through. And wow, did I get an answer? And that's why I'm no longer doing the makeshift happen. live every Wednesday at noon. It doesn't want to happen anymore. It doesn't. See, that's its own entity and its own energy also that I help bring through. It doesn't want to happen anymore. Because sometimes it did feel like it was forced. Every Wednesday at noon, I did that until the last week of June 2022. So those weekly lives are now put to rest. So a new energy, a higher calling. Because see, here's something else, everyone. When we're so stuck thinking we have to, because we made a commitment, let me tell you something. You also have a choice to decommit. You have a choice to decommit. And I really felt into this. And every time I would like, even like, well, are you sure? Are you, and I would question it. And it would ugh. I'm like, okay, it's not supposed to happen anymore. And when I declared that, I happened to be at Hawk Circle where I stayed for almost 2 weeks, where I was at a retreat and met other women, but I was in the wilderness. Now, while I was there and feeling this energy, I could just feel like it, and the ground, Mama Earth she churned it up. She churned up all that energy. A gratefulness came through saying, thank you for what you did for as long as you did, Tammy. And now it's done. And now there's more. And there's a new, higher, energetic something, which I kind of know what it is. No, not kind of. I know what it is. And I'm working on creating it to bring it forth. And it can be so simple. Once or twice a month. Once a month for one thing, once a month for another thing. Because one of the things that I still work with is I don't have to make everything so hard. See, I still have this old programming that I had to do it that way. Thank you, Carol. I really appreciate that. Carol says, and I appreciated those talks. Well, I think you're going to appreciate what I'm bringing forth. Chicken bye bye. So I hope to, over the weekend, get more together on it and bring it forth next week. Okay. So what was I saying? What was I just saying before I veered off to answer Carol? A new energy wants to come forth. A higher grade of energy. Fifth dimensional and above. To where yeah. Yes. What I have coming forth. What I'm in the process of developing. And I'm so excited to, because I can even feel the wanting, and I can feel the nourishing. Wow, that's a new word. See, just talking with you women, just, and whoever else is here, because some of you aren't commenting, and I don't mean to disregard you men if you're here, but the women are commenting and adding into this. And when that happens, that helps to create more synergy within the energy that's coming through, that desires to be developed and brought forth. Just as in what I named this talk tonight, this sharing. There's going to be some sacred hearts that will start gathering again. There's a sisterhood that wants to develop, that wants to grow and expand beyond. There's even a calling. I can feel some of you are percolating too. Okay, darlings, it's been almost an hour. So I know some of you have to get ready for work tomorrow and have your nightly routine as I do. So until next time, I would really like some feed forward. If you have anything else you want to say, comment on, share, you know how to reach me. You can send me a private Facebook message. You can email me at hello@theemeraldcompass.com. Again, you can email me at hello@theemeraldcompass.com. Yeah, the Emerald Compass. The Emerald Compass herself is ready to come out and play. She showed me that in a painting that I did. So I'm going to sit with her too and see what else. So sometimes we just sit with our ideas. I used to have this thought that as soon as I get an idea, I have to bring it forth. I have to bring it forth, because the saying is, if you don't act on it, you'll lose it and it'll go visit somebody else. Well, that's old paradigm thinking. And that usually came from male coaches. And that usually came when they wanted you to, whomever it came from, usually when they wanted you to sign up for their programs or make you feel guilty if you didn't. So a lot has shifted. A lot have shifted. And this feminine essence, this feminine leadership, this feminine power, this feminine, divine feminine, the divine feminine essence of all of us, wants to be lighted, wants to grow, and wants to expand. And we hold that within our sacred heart space. Hold that like a rose is there. Imagine a rose being in your sacred heart space. And start talking to her. And start taking whatever ails you, whatever bothers you, and take it to that rose. And then we'll mulch it up like fertilizer. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I look forward to reconnecting with you soon. Cheers, everyone. Have a great rest of the week and a wonderful weekend.